Hey folks, Mike with Chasing Trail here. It's been a little bit. Haven't had a chance to do much riding lately. I've been busy. The last couple of weekends I've had a lot going on and just haven't been able to ride as much as I'd like. Today is Sunday, March 20th, I believe. And I haven't ridden the DRZ for a while, so I need to make sure it gets ridden and our lovely E10 gas doesn't end up gumming up my carb. Tried to get a hold of Zendime today, but sounds like he was busy, so just me trying out my new helmet. I don't know if you can see it here. First time in this helmet, the Shoei Hornet X2. Hopefully the audio quality is alright. Have it set up essentially the same way as my dirt helmet. I just paid $5.70 a gallon for gas, so that was fun. Fortunately, I only needed a gallon and a half. I had to adjust my idle. It actually died when I was pulling into the gas station. I noticed the idle seemed very low. Seems okay now. I had this dialed in perfectly last time I rode it, and now I'm riding it again and it's not perfect. So I had talked about carbs on and off in the past, and yeah, I don't think I'll buy another carbureted bike. I love the throttle response on carbs. They feel really good, but man, it just feels like there's always something up with them. I get it dialed in and the thing runs perfect, and then I park it for a week or two, and the next time I go to ride, there's some other issue. And I don't like having to fuss with it every time. I want to be able to just hop on and go for a ride. So we'll see what happens today. Probably just doing a street ride today. Gonna go visit some friends I haven't seen in a while. Stop by my folks' house and just kind of ride around and say hello to folks, so nothing too exciting. Feels good right here. It's not missing a beat. Pulling fine. So I do have an update on this DRZ. I hope I finally have the title issues squared away. So I had gotten my paperwork back from the DMV Office of Technical Services in Sacramento, where it was sent down. Took about 2 months to get that back, and it was just more of a mess than before I sent it. They weren't able to issue the title, and they seemed to be very confused about what had happened and thought that a woman sold a dead man's bike, and the whole thing was just getting so messed up. I couldn't bear the thought of having to go back into DMV again and deal with this. I'd already spent several hours back and forth, multiple trips, inspections, going through all this stuff, paperwork, etc., etc., trying to make some headway. I don't know where there it is, on this title issue. And I was really feeling frustrated. I actually got a hold of the guy I bought the bike from, and I was kind of a douchebag. I was frustrated, and I wanted him to buy the bike back. I felt like I'm never going to be able to get this thing sorted out. I made some accusations, etc., etc. Fortunately, he's a better man than I. He kept a cool head. Offered to help me do whatever it took to sort out the paperwork. He made a trip into DMV, talked to them. I scanned him all the stuff I'd gotten back from technical services, and he went in and talked to him, sort of made sense what was going on. Shit, I almost ran over something. And he assured me he'd help me see it through and make it right. So I don't think he minds me using his name. I won't use his last name or anything. His name's Hal. He's posted on my comments before. There's been multiple Hals, so it won't, it's not like I'm divulging too much of his personal info. Anyway, thanks a bunch, Hal. I really appreciate you sticking with me and helping me sort all this stuff out. Sorry again for being kind of a douchebag. When I first reached out to you, I was just really at the end of my rope with this title stuff. Most of my frustrations with California DMV, it's always such a pain in the ass. Everyone I know hates DMV. It's such a miserable experience going in there. There's long waits. Half the time they don't seem to know what's going on. You end up having to make multiple trips. it's just a fucking nightmare. I hate DMV, and most of the people I know feel that way. It's not like I hate the people who work there. I think they're fine, good people. They're just trying to work a job, but God, it just always turns into some overcomplicated mess. And so I couldn't bear the thought of going back in there. I found they're actually listed on the DMV website, a third party that's an authorized partner with DMV that provides their services. They're called Reg Express here in Reading. So I got a hold of them, briefly explained the situation. They said, bring all your paperwork in, we'll see what we can do. So I did that. I stopped in there after work on Friday, and I was in and out of there in less than 10 minutes. They knew exactly what was going on. They were like, this is no problem. They sorted everything out. There was a, you know, I did have to pay them. That's how they operate there. You pay them a service fee to take care of this stuff for you. So it was $115 total. Hal actually offered to pick up that cost for the hassle I've had to go through. So he said he'd get me back for that, which is very generous. He didn't have to do that, but I do really appreciate him offering, and we'll take him up on it. But yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, we see what happened. Yeah, this is no big deal, no problem. They handed me a registration printout, just like you'd get at DMV. I have that with me, so that's all good. And shit, I think I missed my turn. There's a house I wanted to go look at up here. I'm almost certain I missed it. I'll try this one. What street is this? Richards? It's not Richards. I missed it. I'm gonna turn around. Anyway, they had that all sorted out. I had registration in hand, in my name, and they said I should receive the title in 10 days in the mail. And man, what a great example of the problems with government-run things like DMV. All these trips, all this time, all this frustration over nothing. When I walk into this other place that's not just a giant government bureaucracy, they understood the rules and how all this stuff worked better than the people in DMV did, and had me sorted out in 10 minutes. Why couldn't they do that at DMV? It's just a perfect example of government sucking at doing things. Whereas a private business that has a profit incentive and is smart about stuff and knew how to get this done. Here's the street I'm looking for. I knew it was some kind of elf name, Sylvan. Probably has nothing to do with elves, but I'm a nerd and that's what I associate it with. Somewhere up here is a house for sale that I'm interested in. So I wanted to cruise by and take a peek. Before I head out to my buddy's place down the road. Anyway, blah blah blah. Sounds like it's resolved now, but what a mess. That didn't need to be a mess. So thanks for nothing, DMV. Thank you, Hal. And is that it? I think that might be it. I don't see a for sale sign though. It's nice back here. Shit, that's a little hard to open. Yeah, it's this house right here. I recognize it from the pictures, but no for sale sign. So I'm not going to sit around and gawk at it. Neighborhood back here feels good though. I like it. Fortunately, this area has a very high fire risk, but almost everywhere that I like around here does. Anyway, so should all be good news. Reg Express said if I do get any more hassles from DMV, just come back in there and they'll sort it all out. They said they're going to take care of it. So in the future, I'll probably just go straight to them. It's a little bit expensive, but if it saves you hours of time and headaches at DMV, it's worth every penny. So far, I'm pretty pleased with this helmet. I don't notice any drag or anything from the peak whatsoever, which is one of the things a little bit when you turn your head to the side, but not bad. It's one of the things a lot of people praise. This is the Shoei Hornet X2. It is a dual sport or adventure style helmet. It can be used, this whole peak will come off, so you can use it like a regular street helmet, and the eye port opens up and you can put goggles on if you need to. And then as sort of an in-between what I'm doing today, I got these Arclight Optics glasses that have a nice flat band that slides in the helmet very easily, and they are military grade impact resistant, and I can kind of use those when I don't need either. So then if I'm going slow, I just crack open the windshield visor, I guess, and when I'm going at speed, I close it. Seems to work well. The airflow is really good. Today is like the perfect kind of day for me to run a setup like this. It's a little too cold for my Pier off-road gear, and a little too warm to want to wear my Pier street gear, which is also just very restrictive and uncomfortable. Almost feels like it could rain here a little bit. I hope it doesn't. I think we're in the mid-60s today. We had rain yesterday, finally. It wasn't a lot, but we'll take whatever we can get. It should be enough that the trails won't be dusty. There's a house for sale. Bunch of houses for sale right now. Goodness. None of those are the ones I was looking at. I wouldn't be as excited about those being on this sort of busy, right on this busy street, especially having pets. Those are really nice houses back in there. Probably out of my price range, as is anything decent anymore. Redding used to be one of the cheaper places to buy a house in California with somewhat reasonable prices, but that has changed in this last year or so, and a halfway decent house now is at least $450,000 in my opinion, and any place nicer is going to be well over $500,000, which is just ludicrous. People in this area do not make Bay Area or Southern California salaries, so most of my friends and peers that live and work here cannot afford to buy a house. I own a home because I was fortunate that it just so happened when we were ready to buy our first house was in 2011, right after the market had tanked, and so we bought our house for $150. They're now saying we can get $350 for it. We have done some things that made it nicer, but not a ton. I mean, we have a new roof, new oven, new HVAC. I mean, it's in good shape, new fences. But it's very hard, and I'd really like to get somewhere more open like this. So where is this house for sale? I like this back here. It feels very nice, quiet, private, bigger lots. This is what I'm hoping to be able to get into. Unfortunately, you're stuck on PG&E out here, which is very expensive, and they shut the power off every time there's a light breeze. And you cannot get traditional broadband out here, though my buddy I'm about to go visit runs a terrestrial wireless ISP, and I think he could get me set up with something that would work for me, at least in the interim, until I could get Starlink, which at this point is about over a year out to get the hardware. I just checked their website and they said it would be in 2023. But my thought is I could use his service in the meantime until I could get Starlink. But when I get to him, I'm going to harass him a bit and kind of feel him out for how well his service does or doesn't work, and whether it would really meet my very demanding needs.